Welcome to another episode of the Bears Den Pawcast. This is the show where we highlight the journeys of how Cubs become Bears.
In today's episode, we're sitting down with Miss Zappala, one of the most beloved members of our school community. Miss Zappala attended SJSH as a student and started teaching at SJSH in 1996. She taught English, religion, and a few music classes. She became our school chaplain in 2012 until 2016, then became our chaplain again in 2022.
Miss Zappala is more than just a teacher. She's also a proud alumni of our school, a dedicated parent whose son graduated from here, and she's someone who has shaped countless lives during her time with us.
Join us as she opens up about the joys and challenges of balancing motherhood and teaching, the lessons she's learned from her son, and the wisdom she wants to share with our students. This heartfelt conversation is packed with stories, advice, and a few laughs, including her favorite comfort food and the song that lifts her spirits on tough days.
Get ready for an episode filled with heart, connection, and inspiration. We can't wait for you to be a part of this discussion, and first here are some of the events coming up in our school.
Attention future Bears and their families. Mark your calendars for Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, because St. Joseph's Scholard Hall Information Night is about to be the event of the season. Wondering why SJSH is the perfect fit for you and your child or children? Well, get ready to find out. Meet the leaders of our vibrant Catholic school community. They're kind of a big deal. Explore our dynamic programs and soak in the very amazing SJSH spirit. Fancy a show? Our acclaimed musical theater program will entertain you like never before. Love a good stroll? Take a guided or self-guided tour through our historic halls. It's practically Hogwarts, but with bears. So come for the info, stay for the vibes, and leave knowing exactly what makes SJSH the bare necessity for your family. Visit sjsh.mpsc.ca to register. Don't miss out. Your future as an SJSH Bear starts here. #SJSH Bears.
Get ready, Bear fans. It's time to say Mamma Mia! This January 16th, 17th, and 18th, the magic of ABBA comes to life as the SJSH Bears take the stage with the beloved musical Mamma Mia. Expect a night full of fun, laughter, and all the unforgettable hits you know and love, Dancing Queen included. Showtime starts at 7 p.m. each night, so grab your calendars and save the dates. Tickets? Just $21.25. You can snag them in advance at the main office using cash, credit, or debit. They're the perfect gift for the ABBA fan in your life, and you'll be supporting the arts at St. Joseph's Scholard Hall while you're at it. What's the story? Picture a Greek island paradise, a wedding, a mother, a daughter, and 3 possible dads. It's a hilarious and heartwarming tale told throughout ABBA's timeless songs. With non-stop laughs, explosive dance numbers, and a journey down the aisle you'll never forget. So are you ready to say, I do, I do, I do, to an unforgettable night of musical theater? Join us and experience the very best of SJSH. Don't wait. Grab your tickets today and let's make some memories. See you there, Bears.
Hey Bears, can you believe it? We're halfway through the school year. Time flies when you're a possum. That means it's exam season, starting Monday, January 27th, and wrapping up Thursday, January 30th. It's time to show off all that hard work and ace those exams. Need the details? Check Edsby for your personalized exam schedule. Don't miss it. But here's the very good news. After exams, you get a break. Friday, January 31st, is a PD day, which means a long weekend to rest, recharge, and prepare for semester 2, kicking off Monday, February 3rd. So sharpen those pencils, Bears, and get ready to crush it in the exam den. You've got this.
Hey, Miss Zappala, how are you today?
I am excellent. How are you at Cell?
I'm pretty good. I can't complain. I'm pretty tired, but we're pushing through.
I was just going to say, such is grade 12.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
You must be very excited, you two. Mm-hmm. Very tired, very excited.
Yeah, 100%.
So, if we want to get into it, as both a parent and a teacher in this school community, how have these roles influenced each other over the years?
My goodness. So I was a teacher before I was a parent, just to be clear about that. And I think once I had a child, realizing that other parents entrust their children to me kind of just became a very, very humbling and
Eye-opening.
Experience. Of course, when you're a parent and all you can imagine is just the very best for your child, as I'm sure your parents want for you and your parents want for you. I know that for a fact. And when you are become the surrogate caregiver, the teacher and guide, you think, oh my goodness, I don't want to mess this up. So I think that was hugely transformative, having my own child and then realizing that all of these faces in front of me in a classroom are somebody's children.
Yeah, I get that. I feel the same way when I like teach dance and everything, because I always teach the little babies, and I'm like, their parents are trusting me with their like literal 2-year-olds. So it's changed how I looked on like teaching and parenting even at the age of 17, which is crazy how that can shape you.
Yes, and you become, part of their formative memories. When they think about when I began dance, they're going to remember, when we loved Miss Itzel. And
Yeah, I have that too with hockey, because when I did the Timbits Learn to Skate when I was pretty young, I remember just this one coach, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this coach, and that really like helped me to just like experience hockey for the first time, like having somebody like that. So then when I was doing that for the younger kids, it was also just the same thing. Like, yeah.
it's profound going from that learner role to that teacher role. And
Yeah. And it's so rewarding too. Like
It is, yeah.
it's crazy to see how they grow and how much they've improved. Like one of my little people that I taught, he was 5, I think. Now he's like 13, and he's like a little brother to me. Like we're super close, and just seeing him grow as a dancer, like it's so emotional. Like the past competition year, I was watching him dancing solo, and I was just in awe. I was shocked. I was like, I cannot believe that I have seen you grow into such a beautiful dancer and such a great person. Like it's so emotional. So
and you're talking about growing, and I have to say, because I think this is the experience of a lot of staff in our building who have children of their own, that the children end up growing up in this environment. They're present for the concerts and for the games, and or just picking up mommy after school. And I remember fondly my own child, barely walking, and he was obsessed with the push broom. So he would find the custodial push broom in the hallway and just go after it, and just thinking what a privilege it is to have a child grow up with you in a school environment. It's really special.
can you share one of the most rewarding moments you've experienced as a mother?
Can I? Well,
I bet you there's a lot. You have some pretty great children.
oh, well, I mean, I can answer that. I can answer rewarding moments as a teacher. I think with being a parent, though, you imagine with every event that, this is the proudest I could feel. This is so wonderful. And then there's another moment that supersedes it. And then there's a next moment, and there's a next moment, and everything that came prior to it just sort of recedes in the distance. So it becomes less and less actually about moments of pride, but maybe moments of awe. I think, I would say that realizing, and you probably, your families must have had this experience with both of you, that realizing that there's your child takes an interest in something and you see it in its earliest stages. Itzel loves to move when this song comes on, or Annie is, really steady on her feet on the ice, and look at this, she seems to be taking to it. This idea that when you realize there's an interest there, an early interest, and then somehow that morphs into maybe a bit of a acute obsession with it, and then there's a period of investment where your child might be taking lessons, and then you can see some progress, and they see the progress, and they're encouraged by the progress. I think that the profound moments are really, it's not a single moment, it's realizing this growth over time, that the seeds were always there, and that they bear fruit, that's remarkable, just to bear witness to that whole process, that whole creative process. I do have a story, though. I have one story that I think is a proud moment, and it would be we used to go to Castle Home and visit, and this is speaking about early interest, when my child was taking an interest in music and had a guitar and was playing guitar and taking lessons. And he would go with his guitar and go and play. And one day we were going into Castle Home to play, and we were stopped. Somebody noticed, a woman noticed that my son had a guitar on his back and said, "Oh, are you here to play? Do you mind playing for my mother?" And they were sitting outside in the garden area. And my son said, "Oh yeah, for sure." But I have to say that before we went there, when we were talking about what songs he would play for the residents, kind of going through the list of the limited songs he knew, and I said as a joke, because he was also just getting into Led Zeppelin, I said, "No Zeppelin. Don't play Zeppelin at Castle Home. It probably isn't going to go over well." So that was our little joke between the two of us. Anyway, so he sat down and he started playing a song and singing a song to this. It was a woman and her mother. Her mother was the resident at Castle Home. Mm-hmm. And the song was over, and then he played another song and sang. And I think it was during the second song that the woman who had stopped Jude mouthed to me, as in this woman's husband had just been buried. And so Jude didn't see that. My son didn't see that, but I saw that. And it was profound in this moment. And so coming into a third song, I think he asked, "Is there something you'd like to hear?" Mm-hmm. And this woman, the resident of Castle Home, whose husband had died and who was buried that morning, said, "Can you play Stairway to Heaven?" Can you play Stairway to Heaven? And in some mysterious way, everything just sort of came together in that moment. From our joke about no Zeppelin, well, it shows how much I know. No, in this case, that was exactly what was called for. And it was a very beautiful moment. And I was proud that he could serve in that way. It's emotional thinking about it, but yeah, but a very special moment. And I think, too, that that might have been the foundation for just making sure that whatever you're doing in life, make sure that you're also doing it for the good of other people, and not just to serve yourself, but to be giving back in some way and serving needs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, parenthood often comes with challenges, but what was one of the toughest moments for you as a mom, and how did you navigate it?
I have to think about that. I'm rereading the question here. I think maybe just the changing role of parent as your child ages.
Oh, that's a big one. Oh, I get that one
You get
so
that?
much with my mom.
Yeah, me too.
It happened really badly with when I turned about like 15, 16, specifically with my dad, because my mom and I got really close that year, like stupid close. And my dad felt like very isolated and left out. And my mom had to like, talk to him being like, you realize that you were never like a teenage girl. I was, this is going to change. Like, you're going to feel left out. You're going to feel isolated, but this is just a phase. Like, she'll grow out of it. And it really hurt my relationship with my dad for a little bit. So, but we're close now. I grew up, but
Sure. Yeah. Temporary.
Temporary.
Right? Temporarily. Yeah. Anything?
Well, more so I'm just becoming more independent and wanting to do stuff more on my own and not need my parents. Like if I want to go to the mall alone or if I want to just do something with friends instead of with family. And they're just having, my mom is the one more so with a hard time with that. But my dad is the one saying, okay, just let her go out and stuff. And the big thing was a few days ago, I applied to university. So that was a big moment. And my parents were really like,
Yeah.
they were there.
That.
Thanks.
Clap, clap, clap.
They were there and they were like, we all did it together. But yeah, that was a big moment for them.
Absolutely. And and you have to give parents and grandparents, step parents, foster parents, you have to give them credit because we're doing it for the first time too. I think for myself, I'm going to say this, I think I was a really good mother in the traditional sense that I could keep my child safe. I could feed him. These things I can play well. I'm a good companion, and I love make believe and all of those things. But then, when that's no longer the need, when that part recedes so far into the distance that I think just realizing, okay, so this new phase in parenting is really just a lot more about staying out of the way. And trusting that everything that you've given up to a certain point has again taken seed. Seed seems to be the theme, right? Has taken seed and is with your child. I know I'm still the money, so I do have a role here, but
yeah. But how did that affect you? Like knowing that you would have to take a step back from that overprotectiveness that you obviously feel like it's instinct for some women. You want to constantly protect your child. When you have to take a step back from that, like, how did you feel about that when that first happened?
Yeah, well, to a certain extent, it's you know it. You can conceptually, theoretically, of course, it makes sense. This is the way things go. But then you're finding a different role for yourself. Just like you're going to be finding a different role for yourself when you're no longer, should you go to school away from home? There's a whole different culture, vernacular to learn. Things change, and you remember too that change is constant. It may not have appeared so abrupt before that point in time. This is a really definitive change for people when a child goes from high school into either the world of work or school or whatever. It's pretty huge. Mm-hmm. I have to say too, you were talking about challenges. I will mention this. I don't like to often think about COVID, but being a high school teacher, I would always project my child in his high school years. I was so excited, and knowing especially what SJSH has to offer in terms of particularly the arts departments, the
100%.
athletics departments. Like there's so much richness here, and I was so excited. And of course, my own child, partway through grade 9 year, that's when we had COVID closures. And I just thought, oh my goodness, this is a huge challenge. This is, nothing could have prepared me for this. Everything had prepared me for him to be here and be in the thick of things. And now There's no thick of things. We have to make this up. So I think that was a challenge to both of our creativity, how to make it still a rich time in life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would have both experienced that too.
So if you could give one piece of advice to students about understanding their own parents, what would it be?
I have said this to students before, whether or not they've believed me, but really, you're the best thing that your parents have ever done. Cue tears.
Yeah, literally.
But you are, and we forget about that when we leave the house and we're angry with each other and we've shouted things and feet are stomped and where things are tough. We forget, but I want to assure you, you are the best thing your parents have ever done, and that they only want for you the best. I feel confident saying that, regardless of what the relationship looks like in a moment, that they desire the best for you. Everybody is just learning. Everybody is just learning as they go, and there's that quote, and I don't know what its origins are. I think at one point I'd read that it comes from the Jewish tradition. Then another time I think I looked it up as a Chinese proverb. But do not contain your child to your own learning. Something along those lines. Do not contain your child to your own learning, for they are born of a different time. That's difficult, because all you know is your own learning. So watching your child grow, stumble, perhaps, get back up, stumble again, that's something that doesn't necessarily come natural when your role is to guide and protect. Yeah. But best thing. Yeah. Couldn't have improved upon you.
Yeah. My mom actually did tell me one time, like, she didn't want kids originally. Like, she wanted to, just stay at home. She wanted to be single. And then she met my dad. And she was, yeah.
Make sure your dad doesn't listen to this episode, okay?
And she told me one day, we were just driving, and she was like, she's like, your dad, convinced me to have kids. My sister happened, wasn't exactly planned, but she's like, I truly found my purpose the day that you guys were born. Like, you are the best things to have ever happened to me. Like, you are my best friends. Of course, still my mom, but my mom is my best friend, and I'll tell that to anyone. I do not care. That's my proudest thing. And like, just hearing that, it really just was like, wow. Like, it makes me feel sad about like an argument that we had 5 years ago, because I'm like, imagine like the best thing that's ever happened to you, just like that argument's just they're just horrible to have. Like, I hate arguing with my mom. It's horrible. Yeah.
And natural. I mean, there's this whole push and pull thing that has to happen for there to be growth, right? Yeah, always. We tear our muscles so that they rebuild stronger, right? So, yeah.
Well, what lessons have you learned from your son that shaped the way you approach teaching or interacting with other students?
Lessons from my son. I, especially when he was young, like a child with new eyes, and this taking in the world with these new eyes, being present, like being present. I also have to say this. I was late to the cell phone thing. I really was, and texting and all of that. And that all was sort of around his birth year. So I didn't have the same sort of distractions as other parents have now or have had in the last few years. But just being present, I feel like so much of his early life I spent on the same level as him, because I was fascinated by his worldview, his perspective, and watch any child actually, how can they just be so fascinated, captivated with like a stone, I don't know what that is. Or you're passing a window and there's a fan beyond. I remember Jude, he would see fans and he'd be like, what is that? And I started thinking, yeah, what is a fan? No, but the mechanism and thinking, oh, that's not ordinary. That's really cool. That this was engineered. But you begin to see that the ordinary is actually rather extraordinary. And so he taught me, just by his very being, that being present with someone is a gift to them and to yourself. So I would say that presence. More recently, I would say that I've learned from my son, or I've heard from him more talk about intentionality. I think a conversation we had recently, he revealed to me how much he's enjoying practicing. And that's his story to tell, but I feel okay saying that he practice, as can sometimes feel like a chore. It feels like a burden, feels like something you don't want to do. The exciting thing is when you actually have the show or the performance or the game or the recital or the competition. The practice is drudgery, but to hear that he is taking sincere pleasure and satisfaction from the practice, I think that is a remarkable thing. And I'm trying to do the same ever since we've had that conversation, is realizing that I guess it's similar to the idea that it's the journey, not the destination, but realizing that the practice itself can bring such joy.
Mm-hmm. Totally get that.
I want to say one more thing also. Someday you're really going to surprise your parents and you're going to articulate back to them the things that they have said to you your whole life. I'm just going to say that. So one thing I've learned is that you feel like you've spent a lot of time sowing seeds with your child, and then you don't see them germinate. There's no sprouts, no evidence that they've taken root. And then one day, bam, it's there. So I think that is something else that I'm taking, that sometimes you just have to be patient. You have to be patient, but your influence is there. Just as your influence is there, maybe you have someone who's difficult to love in your dance class or on your on your hockey team, but down the road, and we may never be witness to that fruit, but likely it will bear fruit. Everything you do has influence. Everything.
What are some key life lessons you hope your students take away from their time with you?
Well, of course, deep in my heart, I want everyone to be good to one another. And that is that's foundational. And we kind of just said this, that it's easy to be good to the people who are easy to get along with and who we like and who are our friends, and much more challenging to do it with people with whom we have differences of opinions, with whom we are estranged or that sort of thing. But that, and that's the Christian story as well, right? Jesus said, don't just love the people who are lovable, easy to love, but love even your enemies. So I think that is important, that ultimately I love peace. I love peace and I love harmony. And that's something that was struck me profoundly as a child. It's something that I desired, that people could get along. I have hope that people can get along. I pray for that all the time. I also want to say about that, and it goes hand in hand with it, is just realizing that, and this I think comes out of having taught religion, the grade 11 course, so world religions and perspectives of world religions, and borrowing from Buddhism. Then the idea that the very fact that we are alive means we suffer, we are dissatisfied, we're hurting, we're bored, we're sleepy, we're tired, we're agitated, we're physically hurt, we're physically sick. Everyone suffers. Everyone suffers, and why wouldn't we contribute to easing other people's suffering? Why? So I think that that's something that. And these aren't just little pieces. This is like teaching. This is, you know, I'm trying to make it succinct here for the sake of your amazing podcast. But, something else is sometimes we can get really caught up in how we're feeling. And that's really hard to shake, I think, sometimes. And there is, again, having taught world religions, we have a lot of friends in the community of friends of SJSH who have supported the learning of students, particularly in world religions. And there is a quote, I'm going to paraphrase it because I haven't committed it to memory, but it comes out of the Baha'i faith tradition, and it says that, be not a slave to your moods. And it goes on and it says, but if you're so, if you're so sorrowful or so sad that, you're suffering and you can't get out of it, go quickly and go and attend to someone else who is suffering.
Yeah, my mom always said, because one of her favorite people was Princess Diana.
Yes.
And she told me a lot of the time, like, when you're ever feeling down, like, what Princess Diana would do, she would do something nice for somebody else. And so I've tried to kind of do that. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm not trying to make other people have a bad day by being sad or whatever. I just try and think, okay, well, I'm having a bad day, but if somebody else is too, and if I'm showing positivity, then maybe that can kind of inspire them too. Just that type of thing.
It's a good view.
Yeah.
It's a very good view. I'm definitely not like that.
Well, I'm not perfect at that, but
well, depends on the day. I think if the three of us were being honest, it would depend upon the day. But it's something to bear in mind is that sometimes you're just looking, you're looking for how can I do this, and I say the same things. I say pray, be still, be still and pray. First of all, quiet yourself, and do good, do something that's good for other people, and it's not always going to be like this. There's just listening to a beautiful piece by George Harrison. All things must pass. All things do pass. All things do pass. You're not always going to be. Won't always feel like this. And of course, in our Christian scriptures, I think it's in Ecclesiastes, to everything there is a season. We move through periods. There's a rhythm or a season to things, and we're constantly moving through it. And just to take hope in that, and there's so much available to us to help us out. And I think young people by nature are seekers. We're really fortunate here at SJSH that we have so much going on that serves students in so many different ways. And I'm thinking about our entire school environment, the spiritual, the physical, the mental, and the emotional. We have it going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do have a pretty lovely school community here. Mm-hmm. Very, very happy, very proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, yeah, and I think part of it isn't. Part of it is that we really, I think, having taught for a few decades or almost a few decades, that we encourage there to be critical thinking. That the world we live in, the society we live in, the secular world, there's so much that's just ordinary and pervasive. And it's there all the time, and that's what we see on a day-to-day basis, but it's not necessarily good. It's not the same thing. Being common and being usual is not the same thing as being good. And I think that's again, the Christian story, that, we are asked to be countercultural, and we are asked to think in a countercultural way, to make our decisions, and that's another great purpose of prayer, is to help us with that.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, how do you balance the emotional demands of being a teacher with those of being a parent?
Yeesh. Balance. How do you balance the two demands? Well, kind of right now I have it easy because my child is an adult child now. I think about some of the staff who have younger children, and I ask myself the same question: how are they doing it? How do you do it? And I have a vision in my head, and it's actually of Mr. Overholt, and it's of a performance. I mean, countless performances that he heads up year after year, and I think at the end of one last year, I saw him be embraced by his family at the end of it. So I think, wow, he puts it all out there, leaves it all out there on the stage, and there's still more. There's still so much that he's giving at home, and there are so many staff. It's the same thing, and if they're not giving it to their own children, they're giving it to their parents, their aging parents, or extended family. And it really is, it's not just about teachers and parenting, it's about students and families as well. How do you balance it? I will,
True.
How do you do it? How do you be a grade 12 student applying for university, working a job, contributing in your family, serving in your home, serving in your community? How do you do it?
Well, it's hard, but
I think for me at least, it's a lot of patience, and it's a lot of self-understanding when it comes to, you might not get the grade that you want. You might not have the greatest shift. You might not, you're trying to get assignment done and you're not going to sleep that night. It's you have to understand that there's so many fleeting moments, and you just have to understand that this is all going towards a bigger thing, something that's greater than this. Your life isn't going to end based off who you were in high school, and you need to be gentle with yourself and understand that, yeah, maybe I don't like who I am. I don't like where my life is right now, but I'm only 17. It's not going to be the same by the time I'm 18 or 19 or 20 even. I'm not going to be that same person. I'm not going to have that same life. I'm going to understand myself better. And that's just kind of what gets me through this period. I don't like high school. I'm very open about that. I don't like it. But yeah, I just have to remind myself that I'm working towards something that's greater than what I am right now. And I'm going to mature, and I'm going to become better because of the things that I'm going through, the lessons that I'm going through.
Yeah.
So
for me,
it sounds very wise. It's spoken with real wisdom.
Thank you.
And I'm confident in you as well. Oh, lunchtime. Lunch is over. Listen to me. I'm leading with my stomach. Oh, it's lunchtime. Yes. And for the record, we can talk another time. I don't like high school very much.
Oh my God.
I know. Look at me. I'm a lifer here.
You've known me since grade 10, and you've seen me through some phases, and I think we both know that it was never the greatest for me.
Annie, you were going to chime in.
Yeah, for me, it's mostly step by step, especially when I have a lot on my plate. If I look at my to-do list and I see a whole bunch of stuff like homework, then I got to go to hockey practice, and then I have to do this and this. I just do one thing at a time. If I'm okay, well, I have to do this right now, so I'm just going to focus on studying for a test. And I'll do this for a little bit, and then, like, just that kind of thing, like, prioritizing it. But then also to keep me motivated, just the little victories. Like, if I just do maybe one little thing, like, I don't know, if I just make my bed. Like,
literally victory.
Yeah, little victory, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Those can be really
Just that type of thing.
challenging. Like if especially when you're in a really rough patch, like even people don't understand that even taking a shower, washing your hair, brushing your teeth, the basic things that are just so little that we take for granted. Sometimes, we get so stressed out. We get so much in our own head. We don't even want to do those things. We just want to lay in bed all day on our phones and just,
But then when you do it,
I'll shower tomorrow morning. I'll brush my teeth eventually. I'll clean my room on the weekend. Like those are the small little victories. That's so true.
yeah.
I love that.
And then
so
when you
much.
do it, it's so much more rewarding than if you're on a normal day, you're not stressed, and you just, you take a shower. Like,
whatever. It's every day.
Annie, I loved what you said about, you've got the whole thing and it just looks like a big jumble of stress. And that what you do is you just one thing. We could just one thing at a time. And I like that. I do that for myself. And because we're talking about balance here, right? That's what all of this is about. Because things are never going to be ideal where you can, you're afforded the luxury of focusing on one thing at a time. That's not reality.
I wish.
Unfortunately, in my experience to date. So we do have to come up with our strategies, and there are things that work for us. And isn't it wonderful when you discover what works? And I have to say this also is that something I came to late in life was running. I think it was before I was 30, I started running. And whereas in high school, elementary school, my mom always wrote the note to excuse me from gym class. Thanks, Mom. But I think that running, working out, spending time in nature, taking time to appreciate art, taking in performances, all of these things are so life-giving for myself, and that have real measurable benefits as well. So part of that, striking that balance, is making sure that you are feeding all aspects of yourself.
Finding outlets to kind of to de-stress and everything,
for sure.
like music, dance.
Yes, creative outlets.
Creative, those ones
yeah.
are the biggest ones for me. Finding a good book to read.
Yes,
Sometimes you just
yes.
need that. Like you just need an hour where you just read a book, and it's not for school.
Not a
it's
school book,
not
no.
Just
for-
joy.
Just
Just
for
about
you.
joy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and creative outlets, because we are all born to create. We're made in the image of a divine creator. We are creative, and there's no joy for me personally like that, being able to have creative expression. And yeah.
Like if I'm ever stressed about school, say I'm working on an essay and it's just not, like it's not working, or I can't think of it in the moment, you just need a break because you've been doing it forever. I'll just open another tab and then like start writing, because like I'm writing a story, trying. But
Annie,
yeah, but
I didn't know that.
like
do
it's
tell.
Wait, no, did I know that?
I don't know. I haven't really told many people. But like it's just like it's
well,
still,
the world knows now.
it's still writing, but it's not like it's for pleasure, and it's for something that doesn't stress me out. And then I just go back to the essay, and then it just clicks,
Beautiful. Isn't that beautiful that
It
you are made like that by design, that you feel good when you when you are creating.
For me, it's music, like 100%. I tend to bottle up a lot of my emotions and a lot of my stress, and I kind of like reserve it all to either like when it's bedtime or when I'm just alone with my mom, like my safe people. I'm very, very much about that. I only let a certain amount of people see me like cry or be angry or all these different things, but a lot of the time I can base my mood off of what music I listen to. Like if I'm really upset, then I have my set little songs that I listen to where I can just let it all out, and then I'm fine. Or if I want to get pumped up, then I have my set
Yeah.
little playlist that I play. Like sometimes you just need those. You need like, it's crazy how much like music can do that to you. Like you can listen to a song and you'll be fine, and then you just start bawling because you're like, this is so sad. Or it might be just me and me thing. Might just be a me thing.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have another question. Okay. If you could talk to your younger self, just starting out as a mom and teacher, what advice would you give?
One more time, it's all.
Okay. If you could talk to your younger self, just starting out as a mom and teacher, what advice would you give?
Oh, well, as just starting out as a mom and a teacher. Well, you used the phrase that when I called you wise, something really stood out in what you said. You used the term fleeting moments. Yeah, that there's there's these series of fleeting moments that if we're not mindful, they come and they go, and even our time to even this right now is a fleeting moment. I'm like, I've never sat down and done this before. Gee, Annie is so interesting, and there's a whole side to her I didn't know from choir, and it's all we've never really. So just treasuring and cherishing and valuing the precious time that we have with one another, with our children, with our parents, with our families, with our peers in a class, or with that EA or teacher or VP that you really connect with. I would say advice is to be cognizant of those fleeting moments and how precious and sacred our life is and our time together is. Yeah,
So sad.
No, it's not sad at all.
It's emotional. It's
emotional.
amazing.
It's emotional.
Yeah, I would say that. And I don't know if I have anything to add to that, actually. I was just going to say, no, there is one thing. I have to tell you, one of my favorite moments in the school year is we used to do it in May. Now it's closer to June, the grade 12 farewell.
Oh, yes.
The 12 farewell. Sometimes it gets a bit outrageous, but every year there's something that just, my jaw's on the ground, because there's always someone who you may have taught in grade 9, or you may have had a class with in grade 9, and really there wasn't a strong relationship there, that person's personality, may not have been apparent to you. And you just see there they are, it's 4 years later, and they are leaving it all out on the stage. And there's something just remarkable that happens. Sometimes it's at farewell, and sometimes I'm also thinking... Sorry, about the Christmas assembly. This happened.
Yes.
This happened a couple of years ago.
I remember that.
And I think we all know the moment. I don't know if we can mention this student, but he just wowed us with a voice that somehow didn't match the exterior. But then once we got to know him, we realized, amazing. So when you see people doing what they are clearly intended to do, and they're developing it, and they've taken the time to work at it, I think that's so special. Yeah, just precious.
Are there any stories or moments from your life that taught you the importance of vulnerability and building connections with others?
Oh, this moment right here. No, vulnerability and building connections. Well, I think until we become vulnerable with one another, we're not necessarily making those meaningful connections. But, you don't just meet someone and then, here it is. I'm pouring it all out here. It does take time. So I think Annie, what you are asking, I think developing the sort of, as a teacher, developing the sort of class where students feel good about being there, that they made the right decision in showing up, and that they know that they are safe, because they are, because I've got their back, and they know that so long as what they're saying doesn't cause harm to other people, that they can express opinion, they can share. I think that creating an environment that is humane and caring and compassionate opens up the door for better sharing and better relations. Even with, so I'll use the example of world religions. We approach the course from a Catholic perspective, and of course, Christ is at the center of our exploration in our courses, and we learn that as we visit our friends at the North Bay Mosque, and as we visit our friends at the Sons of Jacob Synagogue, and every place else that we go, and sometimes we go to Toronto, that we're listening to listen, we're listening to learn, we're listening because sharing is important, and because that's how we grow closer, and that's how we move towards peace. So I think that's something that I've learned over the years, that interfaith dialogue. If we're doing that successfully, then we are listening and sharing and growing closer, like building relations as opposed to establishing higher and stronger barriers. Yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah.
Did I? It's a lot of rambling. For the record, I'm an introvert, and I like to write. I prefer to write than to speak.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, if I never had to speak again, I'd be fine with that.
I could never.
And so would a lot of other people.
What has kept you motivated and fulfilled through the ups and downs of both roles?
A teacher and
a mom. Yeah.
Motivated and fulfilled. Oh, I think again, just seeing the wonders that young people are capable of. Watching and observing and almost being able to just to mark how much change and development there has been, and growth in a particular discipline, and how you go from someone just entering into a subject that nothing about to becoming quasi expert at it. All of this is so thrilling. It's a privilege to spend my days with young people. I think that all the time, that teaching, being part of a school, is a privilege. You are constantly around all of that amazing creative growth, and I'm so personally inspired by it. One of the things that I love the most. Maybe this has annoyed Mr. Pride over the years, but I love watching the process of a musical. I love being privy to auditions. There's these cracking voices, and you can't reach that note, and your voice is wavering. I love seeing that. And then, where you've got the script in front of you and you're reading the lines to this character has become fully fleshed out, to you're having fun, and it's to the final product. I love that. That's so motivating, because that happens time and again, whether you realize it or not. Amazing things are happening for you in your time in high school, whether you like it or not. It's a remarkable time. It's a remarkable time. And there's no time like it.
Mm-hmm. There was some positives. Like, I think musical theater I never had done anything like that before then. Like, I've been on stage. I'm a competitive dancer, so I was kind of used to people, kind of watching me.
Yep.
Like, you get used to it.
The performance aspect.
Yeah, the performance aspect. Like, you need to be the one that has to capture people's attention. Like, that is your job when you are on stage as a dancer. So I kind of went in with that mentality. But then when I was casted for roles and I had to act and I had to sing and everything, it really unleashed this passion that I didn't even know existed, specifically for acting. I love getting into character. I love trying to get into the mind of the people that I'm trying to play, like Vivian from Legally Blonde or Jackie from Boxed In. Like, Vivian was different. I had something to kind of base it off on. Like, I watched the Broadway Legally Blonde, I think, and I kind of took aspects of like how this one girl played Vivian and I kind of twisted it into my own way. But Jackie for Boxed In, I had nothing to go off of. So I had to make her my own.
From scratch.
Right. And it was so rewarding. I had to act within a box. That is crazy hard to do. Like, there was a point where I was like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but making a story for her, making a background for her was so fun. And that's something that I was truly passionate about. Like, I wouldn't be an actor. I don't think I'm that good, but it's something that it holds a little place in my heart. And I'm very happy that I got to experience that, when I was 15, when I went into musical theater for the first time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People want to know, did you ever come out of the box?
I did. One time I popped my head out for the last scene. That was it. It was really fun. I actually really did enjoy that. It was very difficult, but it was super fun.
Yes, and motivating.
And motivating.
Yeah.
Because we got an award for it, actually, for our acting.
Yes,
it was me,
I remember.
Addie, and Maeve,
Yeah.
and we got an acting award, and I was like, oh yes. I was so proud of it. But yeah, that's my favorite thing. That's a passion that I figured out through musical theater.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Do you have a passion, Annie, that you figured out through
I
high school?
have multiple, but not necessarily through high school, I feel like. Well, through high school.
What were you thinking of when you said I have a passion?
Just, I think writing and then singing. Not like, because I did do the summer challenge in grade 9, and then I did try to get in before, but then it just didn't work out like with my schedule.
Yes, yeah.
In grade 10 and 11. But that summer challenge was very interesting because I had never done that. Like, I've acted before in commercials and like a show. But
Commercials.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but like
Are we next to celebrity?
but the musical acting is just very different, and that was something very, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just not having the cut. Not that I had a role, like I was just an ensemble, but still just not having the cut, or like, I don't know, just the musical aspect of it too was just very interesting.
People see your every move, and that's something that I really noticed when I played Vivian. I was like, I had to, obviously acting, going from being a total mean person to being kind of like the reformed villain, if you will. That part,
very juicy role.
Yeah, it was very juicy, and it was very easy for me to play, surprisingly, because it was just like, okay, you got to be mean and then you got to be nice. But I wanted her to have a little bit more. So for like certain songs, I would act a certain way. One thing that I did was during the song Gay or European, there's a little like bunk when we're all like, oh, he possibly is European or gay, like we don't know. And every single time that we did it, I looked towards the audience because I wanted them to kind of feel more engaged with the song. I didn't want it to just feel like they're just watching something. I wanted them to see my face so they could be like, oh, we're kind of getting into it a little bit more. It's subtle things like that you have to be very aware with theater. Like, even the way that you're standing is going to affect your performance. You have to either stand still. Your character, the way that you hold your feet, even, like, depends on the character. Yeah. It's something that I'm actually really passionate about, and was really fun for me to learn and everything. Like, obviously when you're acting within a box, like, you don't really get to do that. You're in a box.
Hard to invite the audience in.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You rely more on your voice for that. But like, for an actual, like, you're a standing role, you're walking on that stage, like, your posture plays an effect on how you're, presenting your character, the way that you stand, the way that you move your hands, the way that you move your head even. It's crazy how that can affect the whole scene. So yeah,
for sure.
I totally get what you're talking about.
Well, now we can move into the rapid fire questions.
Should I be doing push-ups first? I feel like I have to get ready. I was just getting comfortable in my seat. Okay.
Okay, so the first one, what's one of your favorite memories from attending this school as a student?
I don't know if I can talk about that. Favorite memories attending. Yeah. Grade 9 initiation. We don't have it anymore. It's terrible. I shouldn't say that was a favorite memory. Do I need to explain?
You don't have to.
I don't have to?
No.
Okay. I didn't know.
Paul DeTore running around the perimeter of the gym with sardines under his armpits. It really happened. Okay. Someone's laughing back there.
Okay.
It was so much more fun back in the day, for the record. Okay, go ahead.
What is your go-to comfort food after a tough day?
After a tough day, pizza and chocolate.
Oh, that's so good. Yes.
Yeah, because you need the sweetness to balance out the salt.
Yes.
For sure, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And especially if I didn't make it.
Oh my God, yeah. Unpopular opinion, when you eat chocolate, you have to have water afterwards to cleanse your mouth.
Yes.
I don't know how to describe that, but
For me, it's like too sweet.
Yeah, it's too sweet, and then you gotta like wash it down with water before you take another bite.
Yes.
I'm learning. Okay.
Try it. It actually works.
Water.
It does work. If
yeah.
you have like a piece of chocolate and you eat it, and then you go and like you take a swing of water,
cold. It has to be cold.
It
It
has to be cold water with like a little bit of ice in it.
Yeah.
And you have to like it cleanses your mouth, and then it's like eating chocolate for the first time again. Because you don't have that like kind of sticky, like almost like chalky residue chocolate in your mouth. So you kind of almost have to like rinse it out. It's weird. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like something that
It's
I
so
have to
good.
do.
What?
Chocolate and water.
Okay. Water has to follow the chocolate.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
If you could take a family vacation anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Oh my goodness. Just someplace hot, just where there's heat, please. Sun and beach. It doesn't matter where. Yeah, sun and beach.
Okay. This is similar to a question.
This is so rapid fire.
What is the best piece of advice your son has ever given you?
Don't worry. Don't worry so much. I got this. I don't know if he's ever actually said that to me, but I feel like he thinks that. Best piece of advice he's ever given me. I love you, Mom.
Oh,
I love you, Mom.
Aw.
I love you.
love that.
And then last one, what's a song that always lifts your spirits?
Oh, any like hippie song from the 60s or 70s, like Bellamy Brothers, Let Your Love Flow, or yeah, that one does it. Yeah. None of you are going to listen to it, I know, but
I will go on my phone right after this. I will listen to it just for you.
Well, thank you, Miss
oh, that's it. I don't get to ask
Yeah.
rapid fire questions back to you.
You can if you want to.
No, okay. Well, this is a long podcast.
Well, thank you for coming. This
No,
was great.
thank you.
so
It was
much.
nice to sit down with you. We should do it again. I want to read your story
Okay.
someday.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Or
deal.
one of your stories. I'm sure you'll have many stories.
Hopefully.
Yes, I did. I wrote a story for last year for English. I actually really liked that story. I was very proud of it.
Oh, nice.
Also, ladies, good luck with the rest of your grade 12 year. You've got this.
Thank
You've got
you
it,
so
okay? Yeah.